Good morning to each and every one of us, especially to you, sir, and to my fellow cadets. My name is Kurtkan Giopoldo, and we are here to talk about the self from the perspective of sociology.
She make it clap. I got the strap. 21 gats. Feel like I'm savage. 21 bitches and none of them.
Our lesson objectives for this video are: explain the relationship between and among the self, society, and the culture. Describe and discuss the different ways by which society and culture shape the self. Compare and contrast how the self can be influenced by the different institutions in the society, and examine oneself against the different views of self that were discussed in the presentation. So, without further ado, let's get started. What is sociology? Sociology is concerned with the study of people in a group or social context and not as isolated individuals. It is the systematic study of human society and social interaction. In other words, sociology is the study of human behavior, society, patterns of social relationships, social interactions, and culture that surround our everyday life. So the main focus of sociology is the society and its various components, because society is such a complex and fluid subject. In this video, we will discuss three sociologies. These three sociologies, they look into how self, the society, the culture interrelated on how we form ourselves by our interaction from other people, and on how other people's opinion affects our perception of ourselves, and also on how we try to control other people's opinion about ourselves. Okay, so we have in number one is George Mead. The self is born of society. The self is inseparable from society and bound up with communication. It builds on social experience. This is largely a matter of taking the role of other with increasing sophistications, broadening out from significant others to greater complexity. Okay, but what does George Mead meaning to say? Well, George Mead said that the self is cannot be separated from the society. Society and the self, they come together, and also we learn from experiences like social experiences. That is why he believed that the self is a social entity.
Good day, sir. My name is Archie Arquiza, and I am here to talk about the social self. Created through social interactions, the process started in childhood with children beginning to develop a sense of self at about the same time that they began learn language. So, the experiences of oneself helps him or her in shaping her personality, because I believe that what you have been through and who you are with are some of the major factors of who you are today. The self is the human capacity to be reflective and take the role of others. For example, in order to have an equal judgment, especially in giving your opinion, you must always consider putting yourself in that situation, so that you will not only base your idea on what you know, but based on your experience.
Good day, everyone. I discussed the stage in Mead's. Stage in Mead's theory on the development of the self. They have different stage on the theory on the development of the self. The first is preparatory stage, play stage, and a game stage. The preparatory stage is the children imitate others. Do what the children does. For example, the close open. If you close and open your fingers, the children must follow.
Second stage. The second stage is play stage. when children pretend to play the role of a particular of a significant other. This is the stage nga ang mga bata sundugon ug unsay ilang nakita. Like magduwa sila, magbalay-balay baron, like sundugon nilang ilang mga mama nga magpa-pretend sila nga nagluto-luto sa balay. Most of their age are between 2 and 3. So the third stage is game stage. The game stage about 7 and up. Children learn their role in relation to others and how to take in the role of everyone else in a game. So, mauni ang stage nga nagduwa na ang mga bata with others ug mga games nga may nga naay mga rules like magduwa og dakop-dakop kay bawo na sila og unsay mechanics naa sa duwa. So, generalize other. So, generalize other the perspective and expectation of a network of others or society in general. So that a child learns and then takes into account when shaping his or her own behavior. Mao ni gi-expect sa mga tao sa atong kaugalingon. Like, og lalaki ka, dapat ingana ka. Mao na ilang gi-expect sa mga tao. That's all. Thank you.
The second concept we discussed is the looking glass self by Charles Cooley. According to Cooley, one sense of the self depends on seeing one if reflected in interaction with others. The looking glass self state that develop our perception of others, evaluation and appraisal as. It about the image of people have of themselves is based on how they believe others perceive them. For example, parents say I am good, on the other hand say I am strong. All observes you, how to perceive you. In this theory, it describes our personality and our worth as a person. Like for example myself, I could ask myself, I am worth enough as a son. As a student, people judge in our outside appearance. They don't even appreciate on what we have done. Even as a small thing in this theory, it reminds us on how people treat us in a very simple way.
So today we will talk about the looking glass self. It is proposed by Charles Cooley. What does looking glass self mean? It says that there is a notion that yourself develops and based on the perception of others, based on their evaluation and appraisal. What does it mean? It means that what you see in yourself is it depends on how others see you. For example, someone says you that you are good at singing, and then you internalize what they say, and then you will think that you are good at singing. It is because of the perception and evaluation of other person. Another example, imagine you are facing different mirrors and that mirrors represent how people see you. So it says that your college friend sees you as a smart person because you have the sunglasses, they think that you are smart. Your parents says you are angel because they see you as a kind person, and your online friend sees you as a devil. They feel that you are bad person. All of these perceptions of different persons, they say you internalize them and put them together, and you create your definition of your own description of yourself by the appreciation and perception of other people.
Now, let's talk about Irving Goffman, constructing situations and drama. He presented the idea that people routinely behave like actors on a stage. Every day, social life becomes theatrical. There are rules, scripts, and actions. daily life as a series of stagecraft rules. So for Irving Goffman, he compared the life of a people into theater. There are rules, scripts, and actions. And the daily life is like a series of stagecraft rules. He also believed that meaning is constructed through interactions, and he proposed the concept of interaction order. Interaction order is what we do in the immediate presence of others. For example, the moment when your crush walks into the room. So, what will you do? Are you going to run or are you going to hide? So, interaction order is the first thing we do when we see someone.
My name is Kian Bajang and I am here to discuss about the dramaturgy. Focuses on how individuals take on roles, on act them out to a favorable impression to their audience. So based on Goffman, he states that dramaturgy is a concept that gives a positive impression to the audience. So dramaturgy, so based for myself, it means that you must give a positive impression to your audience so that the audience will like your drama or theater. Presentation of the self in everyday life. Goffman argues that people are concerned with controlling how others view them. It is a process called management. Impression management is a conscious or subconscious process which people attempt to influence the perceptions of other people about a person. That's why we need to control on how people treat us or we will regret it in the end. 400 years ago, William Shakespeare got the idea of Goffman. All the world is a stage and all the men and women merely players. They have their exits and their entrances, and one man in his time plays many parts. He also compared ourselves to a stage. He said that us humans are only actors in our life. We have entrance and exits because we are not permanent in this world. That's why there are people who live for us or we are living their lives. You can also say that our death is the exit and our entrance is when we born in this world. We also play parts in our life like a student, friend, boyfriend, and more. So I think that is the concept that William Shakespeare got from Goffman. Thank you.
According to Irving Goffman, each definition of a situation lends itself to a different approach and the consequences are real. It means we analyze a social context in which we find ourselves, determine what is in our best interest and adjust our attitudes and actions accordingly. The self is a social construction dependent of the situation. This meaning strongly influences what we see and how we respond to situations. If men define situations as real, they are real in their consequences. The self of social construction. There are two types of it, the frontage and the backstage. The frontage. People play different roles throughout their daily lives and display different kinds of behavior depending on where they are and the time of a day. So it means that every one of us has different attitude. It depends when or who's around us, either your family, friends, loved ones, and etc. Backstage. When people engage in a backstage behavior, they are free of the expectations and norms that dictate frontage behavior. It means that no matter who are the people around you, no one can change your behavior or attitudes. No one can dictate your influence, your personality as a person.